what do I actually want the business to do for me? Yeah. So
So
I like that this is the first one, by the
I
way.
do too. And you know what? Our mutual friend, Martin Holland, if he's listening, he's the guy that put me on the path where there was a time I would answer that question going, I would be describing more of the vision or the mission statement, right? And that
Mhm.
is what I want it to be for customers, what problems I want to solve, or the value I want to bring to others through the offerings we have. And then Martin just reminded me in one of our discussions of no, you're in business for a reason. What's the reason? Right. And then so I'm going to answer this like being true to that. And that is what I want this business to do for me. My business is I want it to generate an income for me and my family and the people that I employ, a good income. Um, I'd like it to allow for retirement savings in addition to that. And I guess as a person committed to a lifetime of service in this particular business I own, I have others that I'm not as active in. Is my hope is we're building something that ultimately will allow for a liquidity event. So it's funny. I'm thinking about financial, and that goes back to Martin. You're in
Mhm.
business to make money. That's why you're in
Yeah.
business, right? So I tend to lean that way. What about you? Why are how would you answer the question?
Gosh. So I've been doing a lot of thinking on things along this line for the last probably 6 weeks or so. I've kind of come up with like a purpose statement, if you will, and everything kind of points back to that personal purpose. And for me, it's I help others reach their potential by educating, equipping, and empowering them. And I want to be an example of that, meaning I want to reach my potential. And so I don't know, that's kind of broad. It's not very like specific necessarily in nature, but in the work that I do, I want to be supporting other people, right, and helping them reach their potential, right? So right now I'm with Chris, we're making content, I'm supporting him and reaching his potential of making content.
That's fascinating.
And
Can I ask you? So
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't mention the financial aspect of your business at all. It
right.
really is about the meaning and joy and you get from it personally. I'm curious, do you think our answers have anything to do with our respective ages or where we're at in our careers? I, I
Well,
I'm just
I
curious. It
say
just
that.
occurred to me
So
that so.
no, it's great. I think in the, I want to be an example of reaching my potential. I think that's where maybe the income would come in
Okay.
for me,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm reaching my potential, this is actually a really good point. I'm forgetting Naval Ravikant is his name. He has a really great book, the Almanac of Naval, I think is his name, is what it's called. But he's a entrepreneur, and he said that the number one indicator of intelligence is people getting what they want, right? It's not money, it's not an IQ score. It's okay, did that person get what they want, right? So if you want money, right, can you actually go and find a way to go and do that? If you want happiness, can you go and figure out a way to become happy? Whatever it is, if you can find a way to get what you want, that is your intelligence score.
Hmm.
And so, with that, reaching my potential, the things that I want, does require money, right? But I do not want to be lost in the money. I don't want to get to
No,
a
no,
point where I have a,
yes.
yeah, and I'm not saying that you do either.
No, but what is it? It's, I have, you've heard me quote Ken Blanchard and Spencer Johnson, right? The 1 minute manager. I have more fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy more financial success when I stop trying to get what I want. I start helping other people get what they want. And what about find something you love to do for work and you'll never work a day in your life. And I think that's along the vein of what you're describing. And I completely agree with that. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's funny, retirement is just something you hit these mile markers of birthdays. And so at some point that became something I think more about. So I've learned, there was a time, I think it was when the movie Wall Street came out with Charlie Sheen and Michael Douglas, that my family was terrified. I wanted to be the richest guy in the room the fastest way possible when that movie came out, and just don't let it corrupt who you are. And and I've even my own daughters have said, "Why do you always make it about money?" As I try to teach them the value of a dollar, I'm like, "I'm not making it about money, but the world has a funny way of teaching you that, it has a set of rules to operate by, and you being able to support yourself is one of those things." So anyway, but yeah, I don't think that should be, your true north compass. I think you've got to pick a thing, to your point, that you love doing. Um, and for you, I love that you are measuring it through the eyes of others, those that you're in service to. And that's a very noble business endeavor.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and like Martin would say, and we've talked about this before, noble endeavors are great and they're helpful in getting motivation and getting you the inspiration you need to keep going and to stay clear on what it is you're trying to accomplish. But the objective purpose of business is generating more cash, like you said.
Yeah.
And so you can only reach your subjective reasons for being in business and your potential, like I have, if you have cash turning into more cash. So I think this is a really good question to ask yourself regularly, because your wants change, your desires change. I'm going through that. We're in a season of life of having kids and growing our family, and desires change. I want a minivan. I think we've talked about that on the episode.
Yeah.
I think it's coming this week, by the way. But yeah, lots of
I
cool
don't know.
things.
Money sounds kind of relevant in that world, Khalil,
It does. It
especially when you
does.
have a
Right.
brand new little person adding to the needs list.
Exactly. Well, even more so, it's to reach my potential as a father.
Absolutely.
I need the minivan. Right. So yeah.
I
Well,
see what you did there. I like how you pulled that around and parked it.
yes, exactly. So it is an important one to revisit, right?
Yeah.
It's an important one to think about, not just one and done, but hey, what do I want? Is this business serving me? Right? And a lot of times we can get lost in the sauce and forget about ourselves. And ultimately, a business that's going to be healthy and strong and profitable, hopefully, will be serving you.
Yeah.